So this is the last part of concept 1, which is titled categorical data. It involves bar graphs and dot plots. Now, we've gone over bar graphs before as well as dot plots in both elementary school and last year, so this shouldn't be anything new. The only difficult part really is setting up that proportion and making sure that you're writing the correct proportion. Now, it says a group of children were asked about their favorite cartoon. The bar graph shows our findings. Use the information and answer the questions below. So the first one says, what percentage favored Donald Duck? Well, first of all, we need to know our total first. After we figure out our total, then it'll be a lot easier to do all of these problems. So for our first one, it looks like our total is 8. For the second one, it's 14. For the third one, Donald Duck, it's going to be 8. For Mother Goose, it's 3 in the middle of 2 and 4. And then this one is going to be 11 in the middle of 10 and 12. So when we add all of that up, we get a total of 44 students. Okay, so this is very important. We're going to basically use this for the rest of the questions. So what percentage favored Donald Duck? Great, so let's go ahead and write our proportion. I'm going to always put on my 100 here. It could go on this side or this side. It doesn't matter as long as both the percents are on one side and the actual numbers on the other side. So my whole is going to be 44 because 44 students were interviewed. And I'm specifically trying to figure out Donald Duck. So Donald Duck is right here, so that's going to be 8. And then we're going to have X here. So in this case, I'm going to try to make my math a little bit easier by simplifying. Divide by 4, I get 2. Divide by 4, I get 11. This can't go in directly, so I'm just going to go ahead and try to cross multiply. 100 times 2 is going to be equal to 200. And that's equal to 11 times X, which is 11X. So I'm going to divide by 11 here and divide by 11 here. So we get X is going to be equal to 18.18, but I'm just going to go ahead and round it to my 10th place. So it's about 18.2%. So the amount who voted for Donald Duck was 18.2% of those students. Next, what percentage of the children did not favor Little Mermaid? All right, so it's basically everything except for Little Mermaid. So I have 44 students. 11 of them chose Little Mermaid. So I'm going to take 44 and minus 11. So when I take 44 and subtract 11, I get 33. And that's going to be 33 out of a total of 44. And then we have X over 100 because the percent is what I don't know. I can actually simplify this by dividing by 11 to get 3 and dividing by 11 to get 4. 4 times 25 is 10. So this is going to be times 25. So then 3 times 25 is going to be equal to 75. So X is equal to 75% here. So 75% of the students did not favor the Little Mermaid. Next, how many children liked Mother Goose the best? So once again, let's set up our proportion. Mother Goose is 3 out of 44. And then we have X out of 100. We don't know the percent. It's specifically asking about the percent, so that's what gets the X. 3 out of 44. I can't really do anything with that, so I'm just going to go ahead and start to cross multiply. 100 times 3 is going to be equal to 300. That's going to be equal to 44x. So divide by 44 and divide by 44. So in this case, I'm going to have x is going to be equal to about 6.8, about 6.8%. So it's going to be 6.8%. Okay? And that's basically it, y'all. I'm going to show you some more variations of the type of questions that can be asked, and then we'll go over some dot plots. All right, so question number 4. Let me just go ahead and write those totals one more time. It's going to be 8, 14, 8, 3, and 11. All right, so what percent of children preferred Tom and Jerry over Mother Goose? So Tom and Jerry over Mother Goose. I know Tom and Jerry has 14. Mother Goose has 3. So I'm just going to go ahead and subtract that first and then find the percent of whatever is remaining. I could calculate them separately if I wanted to, but this just makes the most sense for me. So 14 minus 3 is going to be equal to 11. So we're going to have 11 over 44 is equal to x over 100. So divide by 11, we get 1. And divide by 11, we get 4. So this is going to be times 25 and times 25. So x is going to be equal to 25%. So my answer would be 25%. Next, what percent of children did not favor Donald Duck? Did not favor Donald Duck. All right, so Donald Duck is 8. So I'm going to go ahead and take 44, our total amount, and subtract 8. So that's going to be equal to 36. So it'll be 36 out of 44 people do not like Donald Duck. So that's going to be equal, well, did not favor Donald Duck. So that equals x over 100. I could simplify this. I could divide the top by 4 to get 9 and the bottom by 4 to get 11. Can't really do anything here, so let's go ahead and cross multiply. 100 times 9 is 900, and that's going to be equal to 11 times x, which is 11x. So divide by 11 and divide by 11. That cancels out. So x in this case is going to be equal to 81.8%. So that'll be 81.8%. All right. Next, our last one, which cartoon has 25% of the survey? 25% of the survey. Okay, so this one's a little bit different. If we pay attention to what's going on, it gives us the percent. So I'm going to have to put 25 over 100. Okay, always look at the information it gives you. I know for sure that there's 44. All right, so I need to figure out this right here, which is going to be my x value. I'm going to simplify because I could divide the top and bottom by 25, so that's 1 and that's 4. And then at this point I can multiply by 11, and then I could multiply by 11. So x in this case is equal to 11. Now I just have to figure out which one of these is 11. And it looks like that's going to be Little Mermaid. So which cartoon has 25% of the survey? That would be Little Mermaid. Okay? Alright, so let's try another example, and then we'll move on to dot plots, and that's basically it for the rest of this concept. Girls in middle school were asked about their favorite clothing. The data is listed below in a vertical bar graph. One thing I do want you to notice, this bar graph is up and down, it's vertical. It's going to look a lot more like the dot plot, which I'll show you in a second. But as you can see with the other one was horizontal. Okay, it's going this way. If we go ahead and turn this counterclockwise, is that counterclockwise? Yes, counterclockwise, it'll look something like this. Okay, so girls in middle school were asked about their favorite clothing. The data is listed below in a vertical bar graph. How many girls were surveyed? All right, so it looks like all of these that's not directly on the line goes directly in the middle. So in terms of scale, this should be 15. So that's 15, 40, 20, in the middle of 20 and 30, so that's 25, 15, and then lastly 10. Right, so when I go ahead and add everything up, I have 125 girls that were surveyed. Which piece of the clothing was favored by 20% of the girls surveyed? So it gives me a percent, excellent, so that's 20 over 100. I know for sure that 125 girls were surveyed. I'm going to go ahead and simplify here. So divide by 20, I get 1. Divide by 20, I get 5. So if I multiply that by 25, I get 125, so times 25. In this case, x is equal to 25, equal to 25. So which piece of clothing was favored by 20% of the girls surveyed? That'll be slacks. So this one will be slacks. All right, last one. What is the percent of girls who chose tank tops? Okay, so 100. The percent is what I don't know. It says what percent, so I don't know what that is, but I do know slacks is 25 out of the 125 girls. Now, I can simplify this. This simplifies to 1. Oh, actually, is that 25 or is that 20? Oh, tank top. All right, there we go. That was a mistake. That's 20. So I could divide by 5 here. So 20 divided by 5 is 4, and then 125 divided by 5 is 25. So in this case, just multiply by 4 and multiply by 4. So x in this case is going to be equal to 16. So that'll be 16%. Okay. Now let's go over dot plots, and that's basically it for concept 1. Now dot plots you've seen before. It's basically like a bar graph, but instead of putting bars, we put dots. Okay. So the class took a survey about how many dogs and cats each student has. The results are shown in the data set below. So dogs and cats in our homes. So how many are 0? We have 1, 2, 3, 4. So this will be 4. In terms of one person having one dog or cat in the house, that's 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's also 4. So we'll put 4 dots. How many people have either 2 cats or dogs? That'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on and so forth. Okay, and that's basically it. All right, so the only strategy I would say here is make sure to cross off the numbers so that you don't count them twice. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 people have 2 pets. 1, 2, 3, 4 people have 3 pets. 1 person has 4 pets. 2 people have 5 pets. 0 people have 6 pets, and then 0 people have 7 pets. And that's basically it.